I respect it. I think we've seen some Annie mids, but they play it together with the wrong junglers. I think Annie Lee Sin, like that's a combo. You can actually pressure. Because it's like, Lee Sin is a very unique champion in the way that, you know, what separates Lee from everybody else, and I think something that is hard to measure in terms of the value that Lee has, is that he can find gank angles out of fog, similar to Nocturne in terms of the distance he covers. Like, let's say Annie stuns, Lee Sin WQs, and he will connect and he will do his combo and he will do a lot of damage. Like, that's what makes Lee, LeBlanc so strong. They can always pick their battles very easily. Another thing that is so powerful about Lee is that in mid-game and late game, right, he can tether very easily to the opposition because he's so mobile. Very mobile. Ring Hera 96, thank you very much for contributing to Yamato Cannon Go Bold Fund. Almost starting off a hype train. I appreciate it very much. You are so intelligent. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. But yeah, of course, this is a very early game centered draft. They need to leverage Annie, Lee Sin 2v2, otherwise the Azir is going to be able to just push out. The only issue is that they're against the Nilise, right? So Elise can match a lot of the moves. So this is going to be a very explosive early game. What side do I prefer? Honestly, like if this composition survives to the point where they have like 2 items, I think this comp becomes very strong because these guys lose a lot of value against when the Merc starts showing up and so forth, you know? 1 item, level 6 fights, Rift Heralds, blue side comp is really fucking strong. Like their level 6 swing is crazy. Around first Drake, second Drake, first Rift Herald, I think blue side is much stronger, and sometimes that's enough to snowball games. If you're ahead of the curve and let's say you reach 2 items where the enemy doesn't reach 2 items on third Drake, and then you can reach third when they reach second, like this is enough to win a game. So early game is extremely important, but we need to pay attention to what Kanavi does in terms of the early Drake. Alright, well that's the start you're looking for, right? Jackie Love. Bravvig, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I cheer you, my friend. Lovely. Jackie Love was asleep. Don't you feel Knight first strike is a bit greedy? Yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely greedy. I think maybe there's something I don't know about it, but because a lot of Annie players are playing first strike mid, maybe just one of those things like later you generate a lot of gold because you combo all your spells in one burst, right, with your R, right? I also don't know how first strike works with E. Like, it's like, if Annie E's and they hit you, do they proc your first strike or do you proc first strike? I imagine you proc first strike, so maybe that's the genius of it all. So maybe, like, you just E yourself when the enemy tries to push it away and you always get gold. Maybe that's what makes it broken. Maybe that's the interaction. Yeah, usually you have like a small window to do damage, right? It's like 0.25 window to do damage. Okay, okay. Huge, huge. Play the Ignite here, and this is Doran's Blade Lucian, so he's not gonna regen that much. Elise is into bottom side row, and they have only a ward in river. They know about the ward placement, so Tian is going all the way around. If they don't crash this wave, it's really tricky. This is such a strong gank timer on bottom sides that are strong side, because in solo lanes, if the team pushes the cannon wave, right? If they push the cannon wave, they get level 3. And in a situation where you have a big wave and you get level 3, it makes a big difference. Here, on bottom side, you get level 3 on the 4th wave. So even if you fight here, the difference in power, even though the mini wave is here, the difference in power between the both lanes, even though JDG have a massive XP advantage here because less minions have died from their side, it's just a very good gank timer, right? Yeah, I think Annie always gives you first strike if you shield. So missing, should be dead here. He burned flash, which I think is, he shouldn't do. I think he should just die. I don't think he should burn flash here because he would die only in the case where Lucian burns flash, and it wouldn't be the end of the day. Like, him keeping flash is such a big deal here, I think, because you can burn the enemy summoners on command with your flash, and you lose a lot of your teeth when you don't have flash. I think it's better to just die. Lee Sin is in the bottom side, but Varos managed to crash the wave. Lucian lost a lot of his resources. That's rough. Very rough. And sometimes you get to the point where, like, Lucian's Doran's Blade, level 3, is going to outrate the Varus. If you Q the Nami, you don't have enough damage to burst her. You don't have Ignite threat. You were level 2 on Nautilus. You can't underestimate how much damage Nautilus actually has to do in these all-ins to be a threat. Like, in a lot of cases, Nautilus can do more damage than the AD, you know? Especially if he procs passive twice. Another thing that's tricky, right, is that I don't know if Nami's playing it, but if she runs bone plating, it's so strong. JDG are trying their best to actually accelerate the game here. Knight should be slightly more useful here in this fight. And Lee doesn't take a lot of damage from any dragon. It's one of his strengths, right? He has pickaxe here into Dark Seal. They're trying to punish enemy bot by just not letting them re-enter bot. And they'll snowball like this. That's the bone plating gone. And now Tian, they know his position. They have to walk around. They know they can't face check. And now they're gonna try to deny JDG even more. This is a good way to punish. Like, they just took the position on the wave. I'm surprised that JackieLove doesn't push though. I don't know what they're looking for here. I was surprised JackieLove just doesn't burn his spells into the wave and then plays, you know, the moment he knows that the enemy doesn't contest to make the wave crash, and then like he can hover together with the Lees and Nami. And Kanavi in the lane gank with the pickaxe. Tian is looking for mid, but this is an Annie with Catalyst. I think he's just looking for Lee. I think just because of the fact that Lee doesn't show on Raptors, they can guess that this Lee Sin is still bot, but now he warded on try, so always good. Tian spent a lot of time doing nothing. At least Kanavi took some camps. Why did Annie go Rua? I think it's just a lane item, honestly. It's like Catalyst is so good for lane. Gives you HP, gives you mana. Who deals damage to Sion later? You're going to lose later, no matter what you buy, so... This comp needs to one-shot the right targets later in fights. It's a funny thing that your name is Cacnea. Like, I got shiny Cacnea today in Pokemon Go.
But if TS can keep the flow of their bot lane, you know, having the push, maybe leaning Tian down there again, and be able to bring Mark up, that could be the difference maker.
Tibbet's just vibing.
Tibbet's vibing.
This Tibbet skin is so cool, actually. What the fuck? Dragoon is enjoying himself. He's going tank Dragoon. I don't think it's that great here, honestly. I think tank Dragoon is kind of out of date. I think that you get so much tankiness from your W, and I think you just have more access to CDR in the AP builds, and you have access to mana. Does Cacnea have a good shiny? It does actually. It's like bronze golden. Pretty cool. Okay, buffed the Q, but missing has no flash. Wait, he has flash. He just got it up, I think. No, I'm just spacing out. He had flash. Thought he flashed. This Cosmic Insight I didn't count for. Yeah, missing... I don't know, this missing flash is mental, man. Tch. Okay. Missing is kind of running it down. Okay. Wait, I missed something. I missed this. Okay. Yeah, JDG, the only solace here is the fact that they have the Drake, right? So the game is still accelerated, but the Elise has put in some work. The conditions of Azir and Lucian are quite good in this game. Manage-toi with me, myself, and out. Those are mental lyrics, by the way. Okay. Knight and Kanavi have full control. Yeah, these are the fights where JDG's comps is really strong in. I think it's very important. I'm gonna give you guys a rule, okay? Give you guys a rule of thumb. When you are playing through a certain lane, you always need to connect with the other side, right? So if you, for example, here they play with Lee and Annie through mid, they need to connect with, like, either you sweep, right? So you make it really uncomfortable for Azir to face check, right? And then it's very important that Lee and Annie pull the Drake towards the side where they didn't contest through, just to make it easier for Varus and Nautilus to connect. So here they are stronger bot some side, right? Top esports, so they're connecting through bot, and the 2v2 mid is stronger for Annie and Lee. So here Kanavi and Annie, their job is to make sure that the Nautilus and the Varus can connect. But here, it's very awkward for Varus and Nautilus to actually play the game, because they are pulling it upwards. Azir is still showing on mid-wave. The cool thing about the situation is that Xingtian is just committing as well. So let's see how it plays out. Because here it's very awkward, like, I want to be able to walk like this with Nautilus. Even though Nautilus died a couple of times this game, so he played kind of sloppy. This is not the moment where I can blame Nautilus, because they need to connect. Because if they don't connect, these guys are going to push out Knight and Kanavi, and it's going to be a mess. Kanavi and Knight need to pull this Drake downwards. Always pull the objective towards the side that you didn't contest through, so your homies can connect. Imagine they pulled it downwards, and then, as long as they don't get cocooned in one shot, right, which should be avoidable because they have Annie speed, they have Lee Sin dash, they, top esports would be inting by staying in this bush. Because yeah, Kanavi Knight cannot interact, and now they're in trouble. JDG, okay, well, somehow they can fight back. Rookie is kind of inting here. Like, Rookie is without mana. Rookie is gonna feel the Azir nerfs like crazy. Pull to the side that wasn't contested. Yes, you need to pull it to the side where your homies are weaker, because basically you use the man advantage to make Varus and Nautilus stronger. Azir got nerfed, yeah, on 13.4 he got nerfed. They nerfed his mana pool and they nerfed his W cooldown, but they increased the damage of his E and R. But this is 13-3, as far as I know. So Rookie still somehow survived. This looked so bad at the beginning. Okay, I like the knight, but this is so desperate from JDG. I don't know what they're smoking. This game should just be over off of this. This game should be completely over. Azir is good in scaling mainly. No, I think if people think that Azir is only a good scaler, then they really don't understand what makes Azir strong and competitive. What makes Azir strong and competitive is not his scaling. That is like the last point. There's a lot of champs, a lot of the mages. All of the mages scale good. And in some cases they scale better than Azir. Right? Azir is just such a strong laner on the patches that were in competitive. He won every lane. There was no lane that was good against Azir. And that's crazy to think about, right? I say that and it sounds crazy in my ears, but I know this is true. Azir bullies everybody. Everyone. Like, he has so many rune choices that can be strong for lane. He can play Comet, he can play Scorch, he can play Mana Flow, he can play Cheap Shot, he can play Taste of Blood, he can play Biscuits, he can play First Strike, you know? Ziggs and Vel'Koz are good, but they ain't gonna pick him? No. I can tell you that Azir shits on these champions in lane phase. Later on, Ziggs and Vel'Koz are pretty decent because they outrange, but in lane phase, Azir wins. Conqueror Lethal Tempo, like, Lethal Tempo is probably not that great, but Conqueror, it's like, it's not a lane bully lane, right? Oh, Tian was sniffing, but Jacklev went too far forward with his Gale Force, because if he tethers the distance there for Kanavi, maybe they can do something more. Isn't Koki still good into him? You guys are missing the whole point, right? There's a lot of champions you can pick into Azir and be fine, but the lane phase is really fucking hard. The whole point of Corki into Azir is you get fisted in 1v1, but at least you can W the R combo if you get ganked. But 1v1 you get fisted. Azir lane phase is too strong in pro. Triss should be able to win lane? No. Azir will go... He will have bone plating and then GG. You guys, once again, all of these champions that you guys mentioned, you can like pick them into Azir. For example, Corki, LeBlanc, they're decent denials, but in isolation they lose 1v1. Azir is one of the strongest 1v1 champions on mid in the game. Maybe you can play like Irelia, maybe you can play like Zed. Maybe that works 1v1. Syndra, no, Syndra doesn't win. That's why Azir is picked so much in pro, because he has decent scaling and early game he has prio, right? LB loses 1v1, but LB doesn't die to Azir combo. And maybe you can gank. Here you have Annie Lee Sin, so maybe they can gank the Azir. LB loses 1v1 only if Azir hits E on her? No. Azir wins as long as he can use E. Forward. He doesn't need to hit LeBlanc. And also, you will always hit E if you match when she Ws. But that's really game dependent, right? Like if Azir buys Mercs into LB, like you will hate your lane phase. You don't do anything with LB. LB in a lot of champs, in a lot of... Orianna can sustain okay or no? Okay guys, stop mentioning champs. I want to move on from this topic because I've said everything that I can say. Will we ever see Kayn in pro play? Kayn is only picked if a jungler... If a jungler believes that he's much better than the enemy, then he'll pick Kayn to overperform.
Scion certainly will help them as we get later on into the game as well. Kanavi's caught. It's a huge pickup here, but actually turn around onto Jackie Love.
Okay. Oh, nice.
With a beautiful little, but actually turn around to the game as well. Kanavi's caught. It's a huge pickup here, but actually turn around onto Jackie Love. Low on HP. Ruler finishes it
Not too shabby.
with a beautiful little Q kill. It's not going to happen for now, but perhaps a chance.
Can you pick Kane in quarters
They're sieging mid, but
against Genji?
JDG have full control over top and bot. I
Which AD carry is good.
turn off this push. So even though it ends up being a 1-for-1, Toppy starts pushing waves mid. It seems like JDG are actually the ones
Kanavi is a very special Lee Sin player, that's for sure.
isolated play.
Yeah, and I mean, the macro has been one of the things that has set JDG apart.
Kanavi is a special Lee Sin player, but I think they picked Lee here because you're playing it into Elise.
He's stepped way too far into his
Pretty sure they buffed Azir instead of nerfing him. They nerfed his early game and made his late game a little bit stronger.
dodges away from the ultimate. Beautifully done. Forced to flash now. 369 will walk away with his life. He is a tanky boy.
He's just too tanky with Tien.
Thank you, Bobby.
Tien should be sitting on a little bit of gold as well. He hasn't even finished off his first item just yet. And I mean, the fact that JDG are the ones who can turn this into a
Both mid laners a long way away from
they're like
Drake.
Yeah, it's like
Elise and
they are trying to nerf his early game and make his late game still playable and rewarding, and I think that's fine. I don't think Azir late game is a problem. Azir is not the champion that he used to be in the past. In the past, if you were late game with Azir, you had Nash's Tooth, you had crazy attack speed, you were insanely OP. But it doesn't feel quite the same anymore. He's more of a poke champ with Q than like some kind of DPS mage, right? And I think if they shift back the power to that late game fantasy, I think it's cool. I didn't check out Freak's changes just yet. They took away a lot of his range, yeah. Like, he was insanely OP.
I want to point out why
They just need to nerf his early game, you know? And I think that attacking his mana is a good way to do that.
Pet's vision and the
doesn't have the damage to just hunt.
missing. That was the only one that had to go down. Ruler popping his ghost blade, try to get out of there.
Crazy how close the goal is too.
It's just so tense much.
I think the majority of the lead is just the Scion, like,
Even.
just sacking everything.
Pocket for Tien.
Like, this Scion is just staying on midwave on CD. Like, why is Scion?
Able to generate pressure.
Why is Scion here?
Which means they actually might even just be forced to use it mid. Looks like Tien is
What's Scion doing here?
Especially with the fact that you've already got 2 Drakes for yourself. In for Ruler here.
Bro, Scion, buy Relic Shield, bro. What would like if you're playing like this? Buy Relic Shield, man.
Herald will finish this.
No meme. Go Relic Shield. If you want to be a dog like this,
Anyway, it doesn't feel that bad.
just buy a Relic Shield.
yeah, I guess just the amount of pressure that
Generate some monies.
keeping up at mid at all times, making it hard to do so without. And now both teams once again, 5 members postured around the mid lane. Both 80 carries and mid laners have flash.
This is literally just an A-Ram at this point as JDG managed to pressure on and finish the tower.
Personal much.
Yeah.
Top is bouncing. It's like Xingtian is going top now to kill 3 minions.
A like
My man's on,
So far,
like, he farmed 9 minions in 3 minutes.
sideline with 369, but consistently rolling him up
Actually, he missed one. He got 8 minions.
intervals to force aggression or look for potential plays with how long it takes for Chung Tien to try and answer wave inside. Top esports
Would you say JDG is the best team in LPL? I don't think JDG is the best team in LPL. Like, they've had some really bad losses, I think.
constantly rotating for TES.
yeah, feels difficult for
I think LNG is looking fantastic. Weibo is looking fantastic. I think Top East was looking fantastic. I think JDG has been looking good. Like, I don't know who's gonna win. I think it's really hard to know who's gonna win. That's, like, very tough, I think, to say.
belly bob. And here comes Kanavi. The mechanics are insane. But Kanavi's in a 1v3 on the
I think the average level is the highest in the LPL globally, for sure. It's way higher on average than LCK. But then there's T1.
backside. He's taken.
Then there's T1.
I don't know how. Top 1v1. What a belly bob. Be nice because you're so good at ganking people in the lanes. When everyone's clustered up like this, you can't just find those picks. But perhaps
I think LCK is second seed and everything is just second place. I think they just keep it simple. You're in the finals, you go to MSI.
1v3
Yo, Lolka de Jaeger. Thank you very much.
Extended laning phases are really nice because you're so good at ganking people in the lanes. When everyone's close,
LNG have some monster players.
the thing about Elise as well is
LCK has become LCK during Damon days in 2020. Well, 2020, I think DRX was looking really good too. I remember I had the inside information, right? So I could see how good Damon was because we were scrimming them, right? But people were saying DRX is gonna win LCK because of the official matches.
extended laning phases are really nice because you're so good at ganking people in the lanes. When everyone's clustered up like this, you can't just find those picks, but perhaps Rookie can 369. What a belly bomb! And here comes Ganabi! The mechanics are insane! What a belly bomb! And here comes Ganabi! Rookie can 369. What a belly bomb! And here comes Ganabi! The mechanics 369. Clustered up like this. You can't just find those picks.
Deft is like the god of scrims, honestly.
What a belly bomb!
Like people heavily underestimate Deft, by the way. It's like Deft at Worlds last year played so fucking good. But the thing is, most people just get impressed by flashy numbers. And there's this issue, right, with my argument here because I don't have pro view. But I'm using the information that I have available on stream, okay? So I see the whole time there's a camera on Beryl. He's fucking on adventures, okay? He's fucking ganking top with Heimerdinger. He's inting in the mid turret. He's fucking doing whatever the fuck. And Caitlyn is fucking laning against 1v2. Or like Deft is laning 1v2 when his support is fucking going ballistic. And somehow Deft has the patience to never give up kills, only like on really rare occasions. And he always was there when it mattered. He generated gold somehow, he farmed, he kept up in the game, even though Beryl was completely unleashed. How many games did we see from Deft where he was so quiet in the game the whole game because Beryl was making so much noise? And that's the thing. I appreciate a player like this really, really much. There is a lot of skill when it comes to that. Okay? And the thing is, when Deft is playing strong side, we've seen Damwon games this year, okay? We've seen Damwon games, Lucian Nami, he gets one gank bot, he takes over the whole game. He plays Varos Karma into Caitlyn Lux, he makes sure that they are so fucking useless in the game. I think Deft is insanely good. 2018, okay? 2018, we scrimmed against Deft Mata. It's scary how good they were. It was so scary. Insanely scary. We were under the impression that we could play Alistar into Lucian. No one ever said anything against it, you know? But Deft showed us you cannot play against one of the probably the best Lucian in the world. You can't play Alistar against him. He dashed every Alistar combo. He dashed flash Alistar combos. He fucking did it. No, he's like fucking woo. Easy peasy.
And here comes Ganabi! The mechanics are insane, but Ganabi's in a 1v3 on the backside. He's taken down. I don't know how top was that one.
Bro, KT was... As much as I love Fnatic, and I love that roster, and I love Hilly, and I love Whip, I still think KT was the second best team of Worlds. I'm gonna be that guy and say it. 2018.
No jungle, flashes down, you still have some CC to work with, even though you don't have any more.
This feels really dangerous for top esports. JDG, not
Another layer of it, right?
Knight has tip,
Another layer of it.
has that stun available.
Bro,
Moves into the pit, gets the stun. Dangerous. This is not what I want. Ganabi's in a 1v3 on the backside.
I'm watching this fight so many fucking times, and I think just the issue is, fucking you have your Tiberski in the bot, Varus is on the mid wave, and it's like Kanavi is looking for fucking geometry. You guys know that Smeb got his name from my last name? Basically, I'm Mebdi. And basically, I made a team called Team Solo Mebdi. Smebdi. Smeb. That's... He's a fan. Same thing with Canyon. Same thing with Canyon, right? It's like Doublelift insulted me. Called me Tomato Canyon. And then... Canyon became a pro player. I made Canyon and Smeb. You know Flame? Flame Horizon Flame? I used to use a flame to light my cigarettes. So he's like, wow, that's so cool. You guys know the jungler score and now the coach score? I scored on your mom. So that's why... No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Yeah. The issue is, it's like, they don't have any tools. They don't have any tools. Like, how do they turn here? Everything is on cooldown. Everything. It's like, if the enemy can cross pixel and you can't fight back, probably you're doomed. You know BDD? Basically, they call me the Big Dick Daddy. And he was so inspired, but he had to follow TES. So he just named himself BDD.
JDG might have been able to get a kill, but 1-for-1, Baron, like, he's alone. TN is waiting in that brush. I don't think Kanavi's gonna win. And there we go. Wave spots out the enemy player. Dragon is on the map.
Yeah, this looks quite winning for Red Side, I think. The only issue is Xingtian is on food stamps, dude. My man just buys support item, dude. But you have 140 CS, bro. Maybe it's just genius. He's like, yo, if I'm Sion and I don't farm, then the enemy team will not have objective bounties. I like the Even Shroud Gragas. I think Even Shroud and Locket of Iron Solari, unironically, very good tank items. I think the tank mythics are stinky in a lot of cases. I think that the Even Shroud is based. Because yeah, the Even Shroud mythic passive is pretty damn strong. And the key thing, right, about these items is that if you have a cheaper mythic, you will have more access to legendary items, right? So I think Even Shroud is perfectly fine here. The Sunfire Cape is a different conversation. Yeah, 5 armor MR is quite good, yes. Keep in mind, it's like it has the same mythic passive as Yaksho, right? Getting born in the state of Mississippi, Papa was a copper and a mama was a hippie. Okay, Dragoon. Dragoon didn't get spotted yet. Oh, now he got spotted. Rookie the Cookie. Alright, I want to see Jackie Love do some cullings here while Sion is blocking for him. I need to see some poke damage here. Come on, man. Alright, this culling was wasted. Jackie Love is backing out. Knight. Ooh, look at the Knight flank here. Good timing on that. This already looks like danger. Very nice from Knight here. Wow, what a combo, by the way. What a combo. Nautilus ult into Tibers. Like, this is just Knight's timing. Knight's timing here is gorgeous. But I think inherently what top esports are doing here is just the wrong idea.
On the opposite side, Knight.
9 trying to get him from 369 flanking on the other side now. And top in advance of a play, but top esports, they call the bluff from JDG. They just say
It's like here, in this moment, like I think Xingtian should just fucking face Shakir and cut them off, you know? Like Annie is showing here.
you know what? We're not too worried about the dragon. And TP from 369 flanking on the other side now. And top esports go, okay, you're over there. We'll go over to the dragon instead.
Kanavi gonna try and find it, but Rookie having a ton of mobility on these here. Keep your eyes on 80.
But yeah, Knight just smurfed.
Pretty much no flashes across the board.
Yeah, Knight just smurfed.
People like Ruler on the bar.
It's so tense,
Yeah, Xingtian on tanks.
so tanky on
Bro, Xingtian is just Adam. Like, really. It's just Adam. This guy is just Adam.
that front line. Jackie Love knocked up Knight there behind enemy lines. Jackie Love taken down. Assassination as Rookie locked up by missing as well. Dashes to his teammate. But Kanavi onto the backside himself trying to finish off Mark. TES
No, but respect, man. Knight really smurfed it here.
and it's
And I think here, I think there's no reason why you let these guys stand here. Why are you letting them be here? Fucking Nami E cull them, fucking hit them back, and then let Sion block anything that's happening to you. Just fucking park the Sion in front of the Lucian, what's gonna happen to you? You're fucking good. The enemy presses one spell forward, Nautilus Q, no a Lee Sin Q, then you fucking throw the Nami ult. And then you're winning.
Ability on these here. Keep your eyes on 80 carries. No flashes. Pretty much no flashes across the board.
Because yeah, they're just allowed to enter for no reason here.
so tense. Xingtian pulled in, but he's so tanky on that front line. Jackie Love knocked up Knight there behind enemy lines.
Yeah, Knight is just a bit too good here.
Top esports damage from Rook. Nautilus ult to come out and really just leads the downfall of top esports in that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, Xingtian definitely is not a Sion gamer.
Close. It's like you say, that tiny mistake from Jackie Love leading to a fight win for JDG, leading to them getting a second Drake as well.
Yeah, but top esports is still up in gold. Like it's
Yeah.
it is really just insane how much it's coming down to.
Lucian seems hard to play against Gragas also. Not really, I think.
Even like 2.5 coming out for both 80
It's just that
Love, you know, paying a little bit
Lucian
mid lane items.
Lucian is very similar to LeBlanc mid, okay? It's like if the fight just starts and Lucian doesn't get to like marinate
Positions I would say are
the enemy,
top positions, right? Like Lucian and Lee.
he's not gonna have that much value.
But with the back
If he manages to rotate like Nami E's with the mandate, then he's giga broken.
in the very late stages, they have an advantage.
It does feel like this fight, you have so much burst, so much CC, you can take out one member instantly
Insane side.
in the league.
There's a side.
Kind of so close, right?
Hold the line.
Areas.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. Love isn't always on time. I really, yeah, this is just awkward, right? Like, this is definitely one of those games. It's one of those games where you have to consider if you want to just buy death cap, you know? Because if you end up in a case where you're buying Shadow Flame into Void Staff, usually something is wrong, right? I think that if you want to curve out better, you can buy Deathcap second and then into Void. And that's much stronger. It's just here he kind of puts himself in a weird spot. It's like the Shadow Flame, in a lot of cases, if the enemy didn't buy a Ma yet, then the Shadow Flame will be more valuable when the Deathcap is finished, but your build will be worse for the rest of the game.
Job of controlling mid, but they can control mid because JDG had already opted in.
From over the wall here. Top esports fully grouped. Knight has that teleport from the bottom side. But top esports will back away, not gonna overforce the issue. They realize everyone's here.
Top esports
River here to be around for the potential mid lane play. As Xingtian tries to force that wave in.
Yeah.
Walk away with
It's like you have Elise on your team, so let's be honest. Buying Shadow Flame is quite of a Shikizi greed. What do you think about Cosmic Drive? Not so much.
of the Baron area for top esports. But JDG have the inside track on that mid lane, so they could just threaten that instead.
they're gonna do that.
Why is Xingtian showing? Like, what's the thought process here? I don't understand. I don't understand. I really don't understand. What are you doing here? What's the point of looking at them like this? It's just being fog of war. Think you can play Cosmic Drive sometimes on Ari? And thank you, Xingtian, for just eating ass. Bro, how OP is Annie, by the way? Look at the Annie damage. This is an Azir with Mercuries, okay? Sorry, I mean, for some reason I thought he one-shot the Azir, but he just killed Lucian. Okay, then this damage is reasonable. Never mind. And JDG is just too many buttons. Honestly, Ruski HD, I can make this kick. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I can do this kick. All the other bumper kicks. Yo, my lean used to be clean. My lean used to be clean. My Lee used to be clean. Yeah, this is our flash. That's why I'm not saying that's sick. Yo, really insane that JDG win this game. But it's like sometimes it's hard to judge because it's like blue side has so many buttons, right? They have so many buttons, so much shit to just throw at you. And sometimes it's like, sure, it's like, should Lucian predict the flash of Annie and flash that? And then maybe it's like, oh, maybe then he smurfs and he's God. But it's like, looking at how everything played out, it's like the blue side buttons, they have so many buttons. So many buttons to just throw at you. You have the Nami, okay, you have to counter the engage with the R. It's like definitely Elise, of course, falls off a little bit, right? But she did do a lot of work in the early game, right? So maybe fights are just too hard to play when JDG are actually like posturing well. But it's like Knight won the game with his move, right? Knight with the flank, that was like brilliant timing on the Nautilus ult. Like that was insane. Let's take a look at this fight one more time. I think also it's such a bad look, right? The Xingtian is just showing. Okay, let's take a look at game 2. Very interesting. Because it's like in my mind, when I read the comp first, right, I'm like, okay, blue side needs to get ahead, right? They're very strong around Drake, very strong around Rift Herald. It's like, I really, really enjoy. I think League is moving in a direction where a lot of these 2-item spike comps are just too broken. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I thought about it, right? When we loaded into this game, I'm like, okay, blue side is strong around first Drake, they're strong around second Drake, strong around Rift, and if they manage to get all 3, they should be stronger around third Drake, and they should be stronger around fourth Drake too. And what is like the horizon when you begin to continue, right? It's like at some point the enemy just has way too much spells to pressure you, so you can't actually like leverage the strength of a champion like Azir or Lucian. It's nothing to do with blue side. Nothing to do with blue side.
waves, push out mid as well. TS are giving so much up if they can't actually turn this into a fight or Baron.
Fight might have been found though. Na'Vi comes in. It's gonna be the North.
Because like here, Jakilov has to run. He gets Nautilus ulted. He gets Nautilus ulted here, he needs to back off. Nautilus just ults him.
Been found though. Na'Vi comes in. It's gonna be the Nautilus.
The Nami OR is not bad. Right? And it's like, the game is just lost because Annie just fucking flash ults on Lucian. He flashes that, maybe there's something that happens, right? It's like, the main issue, right, is what I pointed out. It's like Xingtian keeps playing in this pocket. I don't know why the fuck he's playing in this pocket. Like, why is he showing here? Like, what does he do? What does he actually fucking do by being here? Absolutely nothing. He just like, hey, hey, hey. Look at me. You can enter for free because my position is useless. That's all he's doing. That could be an improvement, right? Nami Mikhails, for sure. Like, they survived the burst of Annie and then all is good. But then it's like, what happens in a case where, let's say, the Nautilus ult is better, right? Because the Nautilus ult is not that great here. It's like, they are engaging into Sion. So why is he doing this, man? What does he do there?
Again, I kind of like how JDG been playing this. You have control of sides. So look at those minion waves. Push out mid as well. TS are giving so much up if they can't actually turn this into a fight or Baron.
Fight might have been found though. Na'Vi comes in. It's gonna be
Like, to be fair, here, Cleanse could be the difference maker. Yeah? Cleanse could definitely be the difference maker. They could Mikhails. Like, the position here for top esports doesn't look bad, right? It doesn't look bad at all here. Let's be honest. I don't know, JDG is better team. No, that's not what we're talking about. Just remove the nameplates. It has nothing to do about the conversation we're having right now. We're just evaluating like the strength of the pure strength of JDG's comp, right? As the game extends. I feel like if this game continued for another 5 minutes, and let's do a situation where like Lucian is getting IE and the death cap is coming in, right? Do we call this one a lesson learned? Gotta take cleanse? Well, it's like, I understand why people go ignite, right? Mark is in an awkward spot. Is he? Is he really? I don't think he is. How is he? How is this awkward? If Gragas starts using spells on my Nami, I don't give a shit. This is a good position. If Gragas is gonna start fucking eating me, I don't give a shit. I'm happy. It means he's fucking not doing something else, right? Nami is here in a good position. This is like a really good position here, Nami. How is this bad? Who has access to her? No one, only Dragoon.
on to Jackie Love. There's Knight diving onto the backside. Oh, Jackie Love assassinated a Ranger rookie. Has to flash over the wall as well. Knight surviving and top esports. The Ash being banned away
Annie, Tobias banned.
though by JD.
Draven! Holy, Renata on 3 is huge.
And now we're going to see, I assume this will probably
Syndra. Bro, respect Knight, man. Respect Knight. I love it. He's picking the combos. He's sinning, guys. What people like to say. But he's picking the combos for the Lee, right? First game was the Annie Lee. They pressured a lot through mid. Syndra Lee. Very strong combo. I like it.
for rookie, just going to be able to go third time, Xingtian.
I love it. I would love
A Renata ultimate,
That's
like Vart, like positions that run into you. Like
Wow. Based. GP. Okay. I like GP here because as long as GP is getting XP, nothing else matters. As silly as it sounds, that's the whole game. This whole game is going to be mid 2v2 into bot or bot 3v3. That's the whole game. There's no other game in this game. And if GP can say, hardy har har, avasti hearties, and ult bot, it's a difference maker. I don't like that he's grasp. 369 thinks that his lane matters here. No, it doesn't.
Watching this. I love how you get the gyos, and then it just
JDG versus TES matchup.
I'm telling you this, right? There's no way this game goes through early game going even. So it's like evaluating the compositions in late game is not necessary because it should be skewed through an advantage on either side. In my opinion.
Both teams, again, game one showed very closely matched, historically very closely matched.
And then it's like whoever is in position is going to be stronger, right? So whoever leverages early game better should be ahead and should be able to control side better. If you can control side better, you can control the position on Drake better, right?
Players across the
That is like the main thing.
done well, but rookie
Who gets prior on bot? Depends. It really depends on who is in position. Like if Draven has 2 axes walking into lane, maybe Varus and Renata can already hit the wave. If Draven has 1 axe, if they can contest third bush, all of these things matter.
just about gets away with that one. And lives up to his name, but on behalf of Mars, 369 GTN.
Yeah, I like red side draft more. Because I think in terms of what the identity of the game will be, I think it's easier to achieve that. Their 2v2 mid is stronger, and I think that GP is going to actually swing the 3v3 bot. And another thing is, we have Draven with cleanse, which inherently makes him weaker in all-in. Like, all-in on bot, 1v1, is not that one-sided. I'm only surprised here by the fact that the ruler went lethal tempo. Because I think that here, I wouldn't be surprised if you go, like, maybe it's Renata specific because of W attack speed and he is going to have longer fights. I'd imagine that even though he has lethal tempo, that he's going to go lethality because this is just all about strength. Like lethality items just are stronger for lane because they're cheaper, right?
I mean, for
They're cheaper and you buy long swords, you just get like stat sticks, you know?
kind of try and find cooldown as well. It's about 5 seconds. You can be able to constantly look to harass out the Gnar until he is able to find that.
I wonder if this Gnar misses XP
Just looking to bully Jinx
because 369 is not...
Means that he can keep this up, at least for the time being, but out of stack there is Kanavi up on this top side. GTN will have to be careful now that 369 is level 2.
in terms of where they're drowning.
Let's see.
Gnar, very easy champion to take down if you can land the
Okay, so Nautilus, Draven have prio.
piece. A lot of it will be Kanavi able
I imagine it's like, at the moment Draven has 2 axes, you can't push anymore, so...
spot, but that's gonna be more about once level 6s really come online.
Honestly, after durability patch, I think just Katan is OP. Not gonna lie.
That JDG have kept up. They had the word on Raptors,
Tian is on top wave.
and they know
Huh.
Tien is the one who has to push the game
Okay, Kanavi is behind the Syndra on mid. They want to stun and to kill.
times. What can they do?
But there's a wave, so it doesn't work. But this is like the combo, right? It's like every CC that lands on you mid is so fucking scary. Because Lee can just W in and Q you from max distance and you can just die. This is like the whole point, right? Of combos with Lee mid.
Make it like a mirage in the desert, because that's a beautiful vision. And an attempt in the mid lane from Kanavi, but won't be able to find his man. Tien moves
I really don't like what Tian is doing here. I just think that this matchup won't matter for the game.
alone there.
It's like,
Bit of movement speed, has his flash effect.
sure, maybe you can be in a state of mind where
There's the orange to keep himself alive, but it ain't gonna be enough.
like at least GP's wave crashed.
Yeah, a bit rough for 369, right? His wave was already in a bit of an awkward position. Kanavi has his camps up on bot side, so it's like, okay, either Kanavi's kind of delaying
Ja rozumiem, Levi.
369 pushed that one in. I could have gotten that one pushed in faster, so it wasn't in.
It's always better to get a kill than not to get a kill.
Know that Tien was
It's like, sure, with the way the wave played out top, GP would struggle to crash the cannon wave, right? And the difference here is Lee cannot dive Draven. Lee cannot dive Draven, so Elise has a lot more freedom to do whatever the fuck she wants. But you can look at it from the flip side. If Draven Nautilus push 2, crash, cannon wave is bouncing, they thin out the wave and Elise is behind them, maybe they can fuck up the whole game, right? Maybe there's something they can do, right? To collect GP on top side. It's not like the fact that he died here and the way it's like a pretty safe play because the wave was kind of fucked. The way the GP played level 1, he didn't hit wave first. He didn't hit the first wave at all. He didn't even last it, so the wave was rather even. And then he was pushing 2, and then he wanted to crash 3. At least level 3 in that moment can look to punish GP, right? GP's only hope there is that he gets level 3 and he can fight back somehow, right? Collecting GP there is not that bad because GP played it in a very certain way where you can punish top. The other layer of it is, right, that Lee can't necessarily punish bot, but there's situations here, maybe he ruler pushes, he bases, gets a lethality dark, you know, this is like room to breathe, right? No, I think with the position that GP is in, he dies there every time. It's very hard not to die there. He needs to push that cannon. It's like here, no meme. GP, if I'm GP here and I trade dying for the wave crashing, I take it. That's the truth of that lane position right there. 369 griefed in a way where it's like he allowed his first wave to get thinned out a little bit too much, and that's it.
Also, Jaculum managing to finish his recall off. So, Ruler unfortunately wasn't able to deny that one. Does give a small advantage to top these sports. Kanavi and TN sparring, but missing is...
Okay, this is really big. Wow, Kanavi leveraging his level 4 here.
In the wings, Ignite, Birdie. Wave goes wide from Kanavi. And the handshake misses as well. JDG so close to the end so far.
Tragic skill shots going down once again, but not able to come on through. And Kanavi, I mean, making us quite...
Usually I see most GPs play this very different. It's like 369, he's playing this matchup like it's 1965. Like, he's playing Grasp, he's playing Corrupting Potion. I don't think he really griefed that much because junglers don't really gank top early these days. That's really untrue. It's like, every time you see GP and LPL, it's like a strat to fuck him up on third wave. It's the same with Jace. It's like, they want to crash the third wave and they get completely sister-fisted because they do that. Very common play. It's like junglers rushing level 3 into gank is really, really problematic for a lot of lanes. Yeah, it's like GP trying to contest early and play for cheater recall on 3-on-4, right? It's like you want to try to get Sheen, but they're going to do everything they can to disrupt that. Like, this is a very common pattern play, right? And more I talk about it, like I said that the game is going to be bot-centric and so forth. It's true, but this play is decent. Where does Syndra place her first and second ward this game to get info on Elise? I think if anything... Yeah, the tricky thing is, placing wards level 1 on Raptor doesn't even give you clean information. I think that... I think it depends entirely on how Victor plays it. Because if Victor is not contesting and you can like crash 2, then you can just ward 1 pixel and then you'll be fine, right? Because you're gonna ward at like 220. And then you just avoid the window. I think Syndra should be very fine. The other thing is that she could ward level 1 Raptor just to make sure that her bot doesn't... If for some reason you believe that your side laners are gonna be ganked the long way, in this particular game is not that important. It's like, let's say Draven Nautilus was on red side and Elise could break the lane through two sides. Then like warding River, level 1 is not too bad. But I think in this particular game, because Varus and Renata got pushed in, then I think it's fine to just ward after 2 waves.
this lead
At least this is my state of mind.
to fruition and work out for him.
But the 10 CS lead is certainly going to be an advantage for him. Jinxian really struggling in this top lane individual matchup. Bit of a CS lead for 369 all day long.
Yeah, we'll be able to
It's turbo base for now.
trades able to come through. It's one of the reasons why Gangplank has always been such an interesting champion to me. Is you have a lot of matchups where you bully out, and of course you're obviously known as someone who does scale and gets stronger as the game goes on. So
Draven is scaling champ, by the way.
time
I need to mention this.
bring him out.
Draven is scaling champ.
Timing seems like Top Esports might have found the perfect time to go for this dragon. Bot wave is pushed in. Navi was on a reset, and
Yeah, Varus went Dirk.
wave at least in a neutral enough
Told you guys.
to be able
Like,
to cover over, get
better to just fucking commit to early game power. So I'm not so sure about the little tempo, what the idea is. I don't know if it was a mistake or if it was
But a much slower pace of game
the idea of having like Renata.
is that Top Esports actually drafting a little bit more aggression, at least in that bottom side, but JDG putting a lot of respect on it.
Yeah, we saw JDG pretty much going toe-to-toe in terms of like those 2v2 trades or Trump.
I have to admit, in the current state of the client with all the runes, this has been the most amount of times where I fucked up my runes in my whole lifetime. Yeah, I would think he would go Halo Blades. That's what I would think. It just trades very well with what it just works very well with what Varus like wants to do, right? Because of the passive stacks and then with lethality and so forth, right?
In game one because of how the matchup panned out. This time around, they do need to respect Navi.
Is instant from Jackie Love.
Bringing Kanavi down, they can look for these plays.
Oh, the cleanse is instant from Jackie Love.
No, I just love that one of his big takeaways from game one was like, why didn't I play?
Yeah, you can fuck someone up warding late, but you just have to ward even later.
Why didn't he have cleanse?
Still, you know, there's so much CC, like,
Renata poke is
nothing, but yeah,
fake.
definitely feeling that one this time. Not going to go down to such easy plays, but 369.
Gumayushi and Ruler are definitely on a whole nother level when it comes to
Glasgow upwards. Maybe there's a play available.
it. Yeah, Renata, if she wants to basic attack and E, it's like Renata. I'm telling you guys, Renata is ranged Braum. It's Braum. It's Braum but with range. That's Renata. There's three supports that you can consider heavy anti-engage. It's Renata, Heimerdinger, and also Braum. Can't Renata cancel not Q? She can't. No, Zyra Janna are not that strong into engage. Huh?
No, so knocking out that same safety we've seen him have for quite a while. Does have one
No.
forward in
Janna doesn't fit the same bill, guys.
go down, and we'll be able to continue.
Janna's an enchanter. It's like Janna's an enchanter, but it's like, okay, let's make a graph, okay? Paint.com, that's not a thing. Paint. Wait, I'm gonna make a graph, okay? So we have there's layers to it, right? So this is right. This is disengage. This is the heaviest. Okay, it's like the champions that really fuck you up. Really fuck you up when you engage is Braum, Renata, and Heimerdinger. Okay. These are champions. The unique part about these champions is that if Leona or Nautilus queues towards these champions, he needs to think 5 times. Okay, so guys, just stop asking questions and follow along for a little bit, okay? Taric, I think that's fair. Taric, I think can belong here. For sure. I think Taric belongs here, right? There's an additional layer to it where Morgana and Janna can fit here too. But I tell you this much, right? If I'm Nautilus and I Q towards Janna, I'm not fucked. I am not fucked. What's gonna happen to me? She's still getting pulled, and the punishment is not so severe. Right? So there's a different layer to it. Okay? There's a different layer to it. Right? You'll cancel Nautilus, but you'll still get pulled. You'll still get CC. You'll still get damaged. Right? And then there's Glacial Augment, and it's a game. There's some play there, right? And of course, it's like, if you play Nautilus into Renata or Nautilus into Braum, it's not like you auto lose the game. You don't auto lose the game if that happens, right? Because you can play Nautilus and you can have an AD that's pretty good into Braum, and it can be fine. How is Heimer anti-engage? So Heimerdinger, this is his afro, this is his goggles, okay? This is Heimerdinger. He's sitting here in the bush. This is just a bush, okay? Nautilus Qs, Anchor is flying, okay? And then Heimerdinger puts his turret. Nautilus flies into the turret. There's a grenade, and the guy just gets Bobby smothered. Obviously, in this conversation about counter support and no counter support, it really, you know, AD matchup really matters, right? It's like, if you're gonna pick, if enemy, like if you're playing Caitlyn and the enemy picks Nautilus, there's some specific supports that you match with her that is better. Like Caitlyn Heimerdinger, right? Or Caitlyn Morgana. They have synergy. Taric can be good, but Caitlyn Taric kind of sucks donkey balls, right? So, basically how it works, right? Enchanters are really good into this. Because what breaks enchanters? Hard engage. Right? And then in between, so basically, this is rock. This is rock. This is scissors. And this is paper. And then in the middle, Thresh, Blitzcrank, Rakan. These are more, they are mushrooms. Why are they mushrooms? So we have rock, scissors, paper, and then we have mushrooms. Why are they mushrooms? It's because they can serve very different purposes. It's like Thresh can be played like this, can be played like this, can be played like this. Enchanters is Nami, right? It's Lulu, Soraka, right? Pyke is engage. If Thresh can be played multiple ways, why isn't he picked often? He just got nerfed way too much. Annie is like, she's like here, okay? Annie is here. This is where Annie is. Obviously, there's so many supports being played. Ashe is here. Annie's like in between. She's engage slash, you know. Obviously, this is a very simplified version of this. Insanely simplified version of this. Right? This is a very, very insanely simplified version of this. Because there's such a wide roster of different champions. Right? Where is Varus support? Varus support is like here, right? With the Enchanter class. It's like the Enchanters, usually all Enchanters, the way they play lane is that they poke, right? So you can put Xerath in here, whatever. Don't focus on the fact that they are enchanting, right? It's more about the fact that they are playing on distance, and the way you break them is by hard forcing and winning all-ins, right? Fuck my life, I spilled coffee, man. Why do I keep spilling, man? Fucking hole in my mouth. But yeah, of course, this is like a turbo simplified version of this. Insanely simplified version of this. It's like, let's just look at this game, guys. Fucking hell. Fucking.
He knows something's going on. He's also just so close to
Are you a motorsports fan? No, this is a fucking JDG jersey, dude. Bro, I am the most casual motorsports viewer ever. I watch Drive to Survive. That's it. I feel like watching Drive to Survive is the equivalent. It's the equivalent of fucking just watching esports highlights.
That's a big barrel. That was a bonus 30 goal from his barrel right there. As now Herald started up in the meantime. Ruler, oh no, missing, pulled underneath the tower. Jagular's there.
He did. Wow. Mark, I don't know why he's pushing forward here, you know? Bro, missing is on some smoke, man. He just let the Draven cash out. And there's just a 1k gold advantage just like that. Ruler's too clean with it. Yeah, of course. I'm aware of how Drive to Survive is stupid, but sometimes you just want to watch stupid, right? And that's okay. I am not gonna sit here and claim that I know shit about Formula 1. Sometimes I just want to watch something without thinking.
Yeah, Tien was on a roll in the early game, in the first game of the series. So like you say, still a decent start for him, having that kill early.
I don't think 99% of ADCs would ever trade back Note for their support. I disagree. I think this
Curious to see where he will put that.
I think this was a pretty straightforward play to make.
But whether or not you can actually find that opportunity. Rookie forced the flash here.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about basketball. But Last Dance, I've watched Last Dance like 6 times.
Stun underneath himself as Tien. Let's get a stun onto Kanavi, but nobody in range to follow up.
What time is it? Game time. Oh.
The top esports feels like wrestling control of the river, but with missing moving over as well. They're a bit nervous to fully commit to this one.
Look though,
3 for now.
Roller's able to move over first. Jackula forced in trying to catch the wave, so it will lead into JDG having control over river first. But Tien has flash of
I haven't watched Redeem Team.
for a potential like flash cocoon or something along those lines to come out.
Knight moving over, and here we go. Mark flashes to start it off, and the cocoon comes through as well.
Wait, what the fuck just happened?
Potential like flash cocoon or something along those lines.
Was this a visual bug or what?
Knight moving over, and here we go.
No, it just
Start it off, and the
Has flash of
doesn't fly in the air.
for a potential like flash cocoon or something along those lines to come out.
Knight moving over.
I would be an honor if I can have some feedback from you about my game, Gigabyte Marines vs TF and VCS. We just finished a few hours ago. Oh, that's super cool, Hank1. You should sadly me somewhere. I don't have a lot of time. I'm gonna watch the LEC very soon. If you could send me a message on either Discord or Twitter, then maybe we could take a look at that when I'm streaming over the next days. That's super cool that you swung by. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's an honor that you swung by. It's just now LEC is starting in 10 minutes and I need to watch it live, sadly. Well, not sadly, I'm kind of excited, but...
We saw the same thing in last game. It was all down to Mark and Tien, right? Game 1 it was Zanami.
Will you co-stream LEC today? Wait, I didn't plan anything, but we shall see.
We go. Kanavi gets a great kick onto Tien.
Game 1 it was Zanami Elise. This time the Nautilus Elise, but JDG, they don't want to give this one out for free, it looks like. Ken Barrage is online.
I really like this. You know, this is a detail, okay? I call this a detail that North America often don't leverage, okay? So most of the time, most players and most teams are gonna be like, okay, Syndra's dead, okay? She died on mid here, they died on mid. But JDG push bot all the way, and they know Draven's position.
We saw the same thing in last
And they know that Nautilus ult is used, they know Draven ult is used, and they've got the juice. Okay? So even if theoretically they are 4v3 on the bot side of the map, they know the windows of opportunities that they can play with. Right? And this is something that North American teams and sometimes also European teams, it's not only strictly to LCS, they are not leveraging these windows of power, right? I also see this super much in ERLs. Like watching K-Corp's games, I see that they don't understand how to leverage position and what kind of time it takes in order for Draven to actually connect with this fight. Because, in all honesty, if we look at what Draven is, he's not involved here. He doesn't matter here. He's going to limp in, but the enemy is fighting with less tools. So here JDG are thinking, okay, we pressure through bot. Syndra managed to die in this window. They use a lot of tools. What can we do about it? Here we have GP ult. Victor no flash. Nautilus no flash, no ult. Elise no flash. We can look to bust a move here, right?
Elise. This time the Nautilus Elise, but JDG, they don't want to give this one out for free, it looks like. Ken Barrage is online.
We go. Kanavi gets a great
Wow.
onto Tien. He can't even
Brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant. Beautiful. Fucking beautiful. Oh, look what Draven is, man. He's limping in, dude. He's limping in, guys. Gorgeous.
Of their ultis, how much they're
I want to see the coaching staff. Sue! Wait, they're not letting me watch.
You look at the cannon barrage on the backside, really preventing like Rookie or Mark from being able to do too much. They're slowed instantly into the Renata ult.
Wow.
Kanavi playing that beautifully, and also had that Renata on him as well. So if he had been knocked down into lethal damage,
Yeah, instantly not repelling was disrespectful.
finish off one of those kills, and everyone was so low.
Missing Renata is pristine. Yeah, they fucked up a bit under the turret, but I guess they traded 1-for-1, so it's not a big deal, because that was a 6.
But Mark would love to punish him for that. Jacking up down to half HP at this point does make it dangerous.
Knight is not connected here, no GPU this time, and Nar is hovering down. Not super easy here, because they... I guess not super easy, they're just looking to 50-50.
The ultimate though, and the dragon resets. This is 10. Qingtian finally here now.
GP is collecting money, by the way. He's collecting money. JDG are gonna do the usual thing. Here, what they always do, guys, what they always do is, if this is the position, they cut off the enemy from bot. And they force the enemy to commit all the way with their mid lane if they want to push them out.
Secure the dragon. Top esports walk away with the objective.
Will end up losing Qingtian's TP, but I don't really know how much that
Well, look at that. Kanavi missing. They're like, yo, you fucking did Drake and you pulled it to top side? Bro, you're gonna bleed. Nar, GP collected top. Oh, okay. Too much. Too much. Way too much. Okay? Way too much. If enemy tier 1 is alive and your AD is here, you contest Tribush. My man's contesting over here.
looks just like game 1.
Eish.
Trying to find the
Trinity Force GP.
instantly gets bursted out.
That is fresh. I don't know how good it is. I haven't thought how good it is. Because I feel like the Essence Reaver build is just insanely OP. Who's better, Qingtian or Wayward? I think both are good. But Qingtian has had a crazy split with some crazy maneuvering. Triforce GP, you know, Triforce GP feels good when you finish Triforce, but then for the rest of the game it's kind of oof. It's kind of like...
Gonna get to see a replay of this.
It's kind of like... it's strong when you finish it, but the continuation is like... ugh. And I think that this is a matchup. It's like if you played GP against, let's say, Irelia, okay? If you play GP into Irelia, I'm like, okay, he needs the HP, he's just fucking buying it for lane, and it doesn't matter how fucking useless his items are later. It's okay. But against Nar, come on, man. Essence Reaver, you know, you can get the Tabi, you can take it easy, get a little Essence Reaver, no problem, right? I think you will be fine. It's not that big a deal against Nar. If the game was against Irelia or some mambo jumbo early game champ that is gonna fall off a cliff, I think that's okay. I remember I saw Zeus. He was playing a game where it didn't matter what fucking items he bought, he just needed to survive. And then like you can go Hex Drinker into fucking, you can buy whatever the fuck items you want because the enemy would gets so monster outscaled and the only play they had to do was try to kill you, right? In this game, I think you can go as Strive and take it easy. Yes, Zeus did it versus 369's Renekton. Exactly, that is the game that I'm thinking about. And that was a great game to do it. In my opinion. Because they would outscale so fucking hard, all he had to do was survive. Right? Here, let's just see where the rest of the build goes. I'm curious. Okay, so he's...
And again, the gold lead hasn't really grown too big. Is slightly in favor of JDG, but they're gonna try and start accruing that now.
By JDG.
So tell me he's buying Essence Reaver. Trinity Force into Essence Reaver.
Takes time.
Oh, hang on a second. The stun is going to be there. Has Orange
Tutti Frutti.
turn it around onto Rookie.
And still look for it.
Yeah, they might anyway. Flash forced. Kanavi is here. So 369.
You have your scheme to TES. Like,
Yeah.
JDG.
Jagular finishing his boots and getting a BS sword on that spawn on both teams. Ruler not doing so. Those tier. But the person
Huh? All right, let's see where this is going. It's getting cloaks or what?
side of that rock. I think just the recoil animation has the champion
My man's just buying cloaks, I guess. But he's walking into this Drake situation.
Still no mythic online. Missing does. So, you know, those are the opportunities.
Okay, he's baking, he's baking. This is some baking. Doesn't look like a terrible 5-4 for top esports, honestly. Like, GP is not online. Like, he's connecting, but he's on like 100 ping right now. Honestly, I'm thinking about it more and more. And let's be honest, how the fuck do you save the Trinity Force build? It doesn't seem that bad, right? The issue is just the Trinity Force, right? The issue is the Trinity Force. Because what on earth do you buy as your in-between crit item to get to Navori to pop off? That's the whole issue with the build. Whole problem with the build. LDR? You wanted them to go Trinity Force into LDR. I would be in shock. Double cloak. Yes, double cloak is nice, but if I have to choose between 3 cloak of agility and Caulfield Warhammer, I think that Navori is just better, even without the effect. I think the issue is the Trinity Force, because I can't think of a way to save the build. I don't know how to save the build. Thing is, with GP, guys, just because of how the E works and it having already penetration and you having insane AD scalings off of your slice, that is true damage, LDR doesn't scale as good, especially in the case where you bought Trinity Force. So you already bought HP, right? And he has Grasp. And he has so much. It's like Collector could be a buy, right? Could be. But the moment you buy Trinity Force, I don't think you have any other options. I believe that Trinity Force was bad, but I think Trinity Force into Navori Cloak is probably the best option you have. I don't see any other option that is good. I don't see it. But I think Trinity Force inherently is not good. It's just that the item changes on crit was so good, right? So think about the crit items that you buy on GP. You buy Shield Bow, no access. Essence Reaver, no access. Trinity Force just removed the access to 2 really, really good items. Trinity Force just pushed you away. That's what kind of fucked it up, in my opinion. Here, honestly, Trinity Force and so forth. Like, what else do you bake here? Why does Trinity remove LDR access? No, our common sense removes LDR access. LDR is terrible here. Really bad. And LDR is not that strong of an item for GP. Because he has penetration on his E, and he has true damage and R damage, right? It's like he has so much pen in his build already, right? But okay, let's finish up this game. Let's see this fight here. Oh, oh, oh! Okay, Kanavi. Kanavi survives somehow. He survives. Wow. Yo, Knight Knight fight understanding is so clean, dude. Wow. Wow. Brilliant. Brilliant. Brilliant, man. Holy shit, dude. Very similar to the Annie game. The game is just over. Let's just see. I just want to see the build and then we jump into the draft. Let's see. He bought CDR shoes before cloaks. The knight. Oh, there's the cloaks. to be honest, if you go Trinity Force, I probably think this is the best way to do it. No fucking meme. I think this is the best way to do it. I can't think of any other way that's good. Trinity Force, if you have to buy Trinity Force for some fucking reason, which I can't justify possibly in this game, I think probably you don't buy the third cloak. Because then you have to make 2.2k gold to fucking buy anything, or 2.3k gold. That's probably too much. Just go bruiser and play for utility and R damage. Don't like it. Don't like it. I think with the rework to GP, I think that's not something you want to do. It's like, you mean like that you should go like Sterak's and shit like that? BT as well, it's like a lot of the damage that you do doesn't even synergize with lifesteal. So it's kind of rough, you know? It's not super easy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, exclamation mark live view. Let's jump into the LEC. Let's see now. I think Mad Lions have really good chances today. Really good chances. First pick, Elise Navidad. Maokai is banned. A lot of bot laners are banned. Let's see how these streams are going to treat Lucian Nami. You can go Trinity, Sunderer into Sojin. Maybe. 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 Maybe.
Safe blind pick that it used to be.
Where's Dom? Do we just enter Dom's channel? We just enter Dom's channel. We didn't ask him if we're gonna talk today on the games. We're just jumping in. Hey Jizu!
Hey, Steve. Hello.
Hey! We're just hijacking Dom's room. We don't care what kind of guest he has. Maybe our boy Lights is gonna create another room for us.